Okay, random things I do. And this is just something I thought I'd do. And just to try it out, I'll just do two topics real quick. Uh, who remembers when the Soviet Union uh, launched and made an impact on the surface of the moon? That's back in 1959. Do you remember it? Do you remember how it got the U.S. all riled up, got them encouraged to start focusing on going to the moon and all this kind of stuff? And that's how the Apollo program got started. But it was not. It was 10 years later, 1969, before man actually landed on the moon. And well, we landed. The first humans landed on the moon. And do you remember the whole thing? Everybody kind of got out of focus. Uh, the only thing that really stuck was Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong said, made his comment on the moon, about the first step and all that. Remember that? You remember the words? See if you remember. He stole the show. Uh, but he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one on the moon. And but it took him 10 years to finally for a man to step out, put his foot down onto the surface of the moon. Yeah. They worked hard to do that. They were scared to death the Soviet Union would do it first. I was God, they're getting ahead of us, just because they made an impact on the moon 10 years earlier. And the next thing would be John F. Kennedy. I know it really, the focus when you talk about John F. Kennedy is that his history got taken away. And the way I see it anyway, his history kind of got stole for the moment. Because the only thing anybody could talk about was his death in 1963. He got, when he was, I don't want to say wrong words and get YouTube all upset or nothing, but he was assassinated. And, but he was also the 35th president. He was elected in 1961, and he was the youngest president at that point in time. He was the youngest president ever elected to office. But all that took a back seat to the fact that, his life ended in Dallas. Those are just we go back to 1959 through 1963 with those two topics. That's 5 years. Who remembers that? What was it Neil Armstrong said when he stepped off the craft? Everybody should know. Let me ask you this: do you remember where you were at when it took place? Do you remember? Were you sitting at home? Walter I can't say his name. Walter Cronkite. Anyway, I'm messing his name up. He was a news guy, a famous one. I remember we had that TV sitting up there, had that round picture, two knobs, and an on and off switch. No remote control back then. Where I lived at, we only got 2 TV stations. And you ever go to the city and they got 3 channels? Boy, you thought you were big time. Some of them they'd rub it in. Sometimes they come visit us up there in the mountains and go, you only get 2 channels? Well, we get 3. Do you remember when the TV went off the air at night and the peacock would come out and it'd make that loud noise? Hope everybody have a great evening. And it don't come back on till what was it, 6 o'clock in the morning? What did people do? Man, you know what? I actually know what they did. They went to bed. No, and they turned the TV off. Actually turned it off. Got up and pushed the button. Yeah, well, I guess wasn't too many of those I ever saw, but till later on, till I was a little older, because we always went to bed. We didn't watch that much TV to start with. But don't let me get off on the subject of my life. Let's talk about. Let's get back to the two topics that I wanted to cover, and that was the Soviet Union making the first impact on the moon. Not the first man walked on it now. We did that 10 years later, okay? But who remembers where they were at when man landed on the moon? Who remembers where they were at when John F. Kennedy was assassinated? Do you remember seeing it on the news? Walter Cronkite, he reported on it. Who remembers him? So I guess that would be a third person. But yeah. Who remembers when John F. Kennedy got sworn in as the youngest president ever elected? Like I said, he was the 35th president. I think I'll do this again if it works out good. If you like it, let me know you like it. I'm gonna try to figure out how to stream it. Yeah, I think you'll. If you like it, then I'll do another one. I'll pick a couple, 2 or 3 other topics from the past and see if you can remember when it took place. And one other thing, have you seen anything about this new pickup truck? What was it, $7,000 or $8,000 pickup truck they're trying to manufacture and put out on the market? What do you think about that? That's up to date stuff. I've seen a few articles about it. Sounds interesting to me. It won't have all the bells and whistles with the backup cameras and the automatic, everything switches over to your automobile when you get in it, and it don't have all this Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff in it. And guess what? No buttons to push to make the windows go up and down. You have to literally crank them. You have to slide the seats. You have to pull a handle and slide it. You can't just push a button no more. What do you think about that? I think it would go over good. I'd like having a down-to-earth old truck that didn't have a bunch of gadgets on it that break down or mess up on you and you have to go get it fixed. Yeah, I think I like the idea myself. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, I threw a bunch of questions out there, a bunch of memories out there. And do you remember it? Do you remember where you were at? Do you remember who you were with when it took place? I can. You tell me what you were doing. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Give me some comments, give me some shout outs, not just answer the questions, but let me know if you want me to do more of these. Have a great night. I'll see you later. Random things I do. Remember, God bless. Jesus loves you. Keep on smiling, and don't forget your past. Just remember it's all been taken care of. All right. Good night.